A prostitute becomes a housewife because a man promises to give her 100,000 euros a month. A middle-aged man stands on a street at night. He quietly looks at the beautiful prostitute in the house. After a few moments, Renoy walks in. Daniela came up to him and talked to him. It turned out that Renoy had won the lottery. The prize money is more than 4 million euros. He wanted to use the money to support Daniela. Daniela will give 100,000 euros in return, and she'll give 100,000 euros every month until he can afford it. Daniela gets a little excited and asks what she needs to do. Renoy smiles shyly and asks Daniela to leave with him, although this request was very unusual. But Daniela agreed. Daniela follows Renoy to his home. But Renoy suddenly had a heart attack and sat down on the stairs. Daniela rushed to call the doctor. Renoy told the doctor that he was fine, just a little nervous and excited, because this beautiful woman was going to live in his house. After examining his body, Renoy took Daniela into his room. Daniela sits down on the sofa after the tour of the room. Daniela said that this was her home now. They can do whatever they want afterwards. Then she started to take off her clothes. Daniela's beauty made Renoy fall into Daniela's arms. The next day, Renoy was awakened by the alarm clock, but Daniela was not with him. It turned out that Daniela was making coffee for him in the kitchen. Her kind gesture melted Renoy's heart again. Daniela organized Renoy clothes for him when he was going to work. She also asked him what he wanted to eat tonight. Daniela didn't want him to leave, so she used all kinds of ways to make Renoy stay. But Renoy had a heart attack after all this excitement. Renoy called his doctor friend, Nader, and introduced Daniela to him. Nader was apparently also amazed by Daniela's beauty. Nader told him not to be with such a woman because his heart can't handle such excitement. Nader also warned Daniela that she would be held responsible if something went wrong with Renoy. As he said this, he approached and touched her. Fortunately, this scene is just a figment of Andr's imagination. The prostitute and the man go on a weekend vacation to the beach. The sea breeze is blowing quietly. They are running on the beach and kissing each other. Renoy is happy as if he were in heaven. He seems to have become an energetic teenager all of a sudden. Back home, Renoy invited Nader to stay with him. Renoy shared his happy life with Daniela. Nader was envious and jealous after hearing this. As he leaves, he tells of his failed relationships. Late at night, after going to sleep, Nader received another call from Renoy asking for help. But this time Daniela is not feeling well. Nader enters the room and prepares to take her blood pressure. Daniela cooperates with the treatment and lies down on the bed with her clothes open. But Nader turns around and faints at the sight of this beautiful body. Renoy and Daniela attend Andr's funeral. At home, Renoy was sad, but fortunately he had Daniela with him. The sweetness and happiness of his life changed Renoy a lot. His colleagues wanted to meet this mysterious woman who had changed Renoy. Renoy couldn't resist, so he contacted Daniela, but Daniela disappeared. The colleagues followed Renoy to his home and offered to stay with him. They appear to be concerned, but they have a different agenda. Renoy refuses their offer. Renoy comes back to the place where they met. Daniela sits quietly in front of the window, as before, waiting for her guests to arrive. Daniela says she tried to be a good woman but failed, because the long, boring family life left her empty, so she came back here. After she finished, she closed the curtain. Renoy watched in silence. Disappointed, the owner introduces Renoy to a young girl, Ugate. Renoy was distracted from talking to Ugate. Ugate knew that Renoy had won the lottery and started to care for him. Daniela walks out of the room after the sex. Renoy also leaves. Ugate follows him and says bad things about Daniela, but Renoy simply ignores her. Renoy returns to the store to tell Daniela about his love for her. He accuses Daniela of being with him for the money. Daniela threw all the money on the floor in anger. She said she didn't care about the money. What she cares about is her own happiness. After an argument, Renoy and Daniela get back together. They return home and continue to have sex, but they disturb their next-door neighbor, Voisine, who was working. Voisine tells them to keep their voices down, but the matter turns into a war between two women. Voisine is a hard-working woman in the workplace. Daniela is a prostitute who wants to be free and have fun. Voisine mocks her for being a bitch. Daniela denigrates her as an old-fashioned woman who no one will ever love. They each argue and talk about their different views on happiness. After the quarrel is over, Renoy asks Daniela again, will Daniela leave him if he doesn't have money? Daniela answers in the affirmative. Then she asks Renoy why he's approaching her. Renoy said he had no agenda. Instead, he knew Daniela's intentions and thoughts. But even so, he still loves Daniela. Renoy and Daniela go from passionate love to mutual suspicion. And then came the test. Daniela's husband, Harley, warns Renoy either to exchange the lottery winnings for Daniela or leave Daniela. Renoy is torn for a long time. In the end, he gave up on Daniela after her deliberate provocation. Daniela leaves with a broken heart. Harley asks Daniela to tell her what happened with Renoy, but Daniela doesn't want to talk about it because she had already fallen in love with Renoy with all her heart. She doesn't want to touch this hidden scar, but Harley kept asking her. A husband allows his wife to sell her body, but he couldn't accept that his wife betrayed him spiritually. Finally, Daniela could not resist packing up her things and running back to Renoy's house. But to Daniela's surprise, Renoy was sleeping with his neighbor. It turned out that Renoy was not unable to live without her. Renoy even said that he didn't win the lottery at all. His promise to give Daniela 100,000 euros a month was also a lie. It was all a scam. Daniela is in disbelief. She calls Renoy a liar. Renoy bragged about his victory. Daniela's only confidence collapsed. The seemingly arrogant Daniela is finally conquered by Renoy. And that's when Renoy's colleagues approached him again. Daniela danced surrounded by them. The colleagues looked at the beautiful Daniela with envy. They felt that Daniela's body was more beautiful than anything else. They were willing to pay any price for such beauty. The colleagues were not shy to say that Daniela was a whore. Renoy couldn't help but fight with him. Daniela came to the fight. Then she kissed Renoy in front of everyone's eyes. The young colleague who was watching even shed tears. He said he had never seen a woman so beautiful. Daniela is a fairy that does not belong here. Daniela was moved. She was born to not resist the sincere praise of men. So Daniela made out with him again. Renoy and his colleagues all witnessed this scene. 1 minute Renoy was bragging to others about his victory, and now he was being hurt by Daniela. Who won the war between them? No one knows whether Renoy conquered Daniela or Daniela conquers Renoy. Maybe happiness is just a dream. The real life of a couple is more like the art of war. Peace becomes more precious only after the war. So happiness alone does not prove how much you love me. Only through the pain of the ups and downs. You will only know how much he loves you.